So we're going to be looking at the exterior angle theorem first. Okay, the exterior angle, does anybody know what exterior means? Outside, very good. If we know that, we will be A-okay, okay? So we're talking about the outside angle theorem, which states that the measure of an exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the two remote interior angles, okay? So we're going to talk about what those are. Do y'all know what remote means? Okay, alone, by itself, far away, like remote islands, right? Okay, so let's look at labeling each type of angle. Okay, so looking at this picture, which one do you think is an exterior angle? Very good. Angle 4, because it is outside of the triangle. Okay, now, interior means what? Inside. Technically, all three that are left are inside. But for this purpose, our inside is going to be the one inside and connected to that exterior angle. So which one's inside and connected to the exterior angle? Angle 3. Very good. Okay, then our remote are the ones furthest away from that exterior angle. So here, our remote angles are 1 and 2 because they're the furthest away from this exterior angle. Does that make sense?
Are you always going to have 2 remote?
You will always have 2 remote. So this one would be angle 2 and angle 1. Okay, so the generic formula for finding an exterior angle is going to be remote angle plus remote angle equals the exterior angle. Okay? If we were looking at this triangle, that would mean that angle 1 plus angle 2 would be equal to angle 4. Okay? It's a very easy, simple principle. So let's try some. So looking at number 1 on your note sheet, they want us to find angle ABC. So ABC would be this angle right here. 53. What type angle is 53? Remote. What type angle is B? B is exterior. It's remote. And then angle ACD right here is exterior. Okay, so we don't know what this one is, but I know if I add this remote angle plus this remote angle, it should equal the exterior. So we would set this up as x plus 53 equals 100. Then to solve for x, we would subtract 53. And our angle would be 47 degrees. Does that make sense? Okay, let's try another one to make sure we got it. So in number 2, it asked me to find the measure of x, y, z. So x, y, z is this angle right here. What type angle is this? Remote. Okay, so this one's remote. What about 75? Remote. And what is 130? Exterior. So we're going to do remote plus remote equals exterior. So 75 plus x equals 130. To find x, we subtract 75 from both. and x equals 55 degrees. Okay, and then example 3 asked me to find LMN. What angle is LMN? The exterior. So this time we're trying to find the exterior, and what are 42 and 51? Remote. Okay, so we're going to do 42 plus 51, and that should equal my exterior angle. So that would be 93 degrees. Okay, do we need more examples of this? All right, then flip to the back for me. Now, on my sheet and your sheet, these are not labeled, so I'm going to go through and label. If you will write it out as I go, this would be B, E, L, and U. For number 2, this would be W, H, T. For number 3, this is going to be R, E, D. For this one, this would be P, A, T. For this one, this is going to be H, C, S. And this last one is going to be H, M, and S. Okay, so let's look at number 1 right here. They want us to find BLU. Which angle is BLU here? The exterior. So how would I set this up? Very good. 5x minus 1 plus 23, remote plus remote, equals the exterior angle, which is 9x plus 2. Okay? So I combine my like terms, negative 1 and 23 give me a positive 22. Then I want to get all of my x's on one side, all my numbers on the other, so I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. That gives me 22 equals 4x plus 2. Then I want to subtract 2 from both sides. That means 4x equals 20. So what does x equal? 5. And if x equals 5, they asked me to find the exterior angle. How would I find the exterior angle? Plug it back in. So this would be 9 times 5 plus 2. 9 times 5 is 45, plus 2 is 47 degrees. Very good. Okay, let's look at number 2. So number 2, they ask us to find WHT. So which angle is WHT? One of the remote, right? So this is the one we're trying to find. So we're still going to set it up exactly the same. Remote angle plus remote angle equals exterior angle. So we're going to set this up as x plus 12 plus 58 equals 2x plus 16. This is going to give me x. I'm going to add 12 and 58, which gives me 70. I'm going to go ahead and subtract x from both sides. That gives me 70 equals x plus 16. I want to get rid of the 16 to get x by itself, so I subtract 16. And x equals 54. Now, what would I do with 54 if I want to find the angle WHT? and plug it in. So we do 54 plus 12, which would give me 66 degrees. Okay, and then number 3. So in number 3, what do these mean right here? These little marks? Okay, they're congruent, or they're equal. So if this angle right here is x, what is this angle? X. Very good. Now, they want us to find angle RED. Which angle is RED? The exterior angle. So we're looking for this right here. So we're still setting it up. Remote angle plus remote angle equals exterior angle. So this would be x plus x equals x plus 60. Okay? I want all my x's on one side, so I'm going to go ahead and take this right x and move it to the other side, which is going to cancel out one of my x's. And so x is going to equal 60. So to find my remote angle, I would plug that in. 60 plus 60 is 120 degrees. Okay? Are there any questions on those? All right, let's look at a, yes ma'am? The word problem. All right, let's look at 7. So 7 says, in triangle EXT, the measure of E is 78, and the measure of an exterior angle at T is 114. They want me to find the measure of X, angle X, and the measure of angle XTE. So I'm going to draw a triangle, and since it talks about an exterior angle, I'm going to make my bottom go out so I can have an exterior angle. So it tells me my exterior angle is at T. So this point right here is going to have to be T, and this angle has to be 114. Then if it's triangle EXT, I have to go in that order. So if this is T, we're going to make this X, this E. So it tells me angle E is 78. We don't know X. They want us to find X and find EXT. So if we do not know X right here, what can we let it be? X. So I know that 78 plus angle X should equal my exterior angle 114. So to get X, I would subtract 78. And that would give me 36. So angle X equals 36. Now, they also asked me to find XTE. So XTE is this angle right here. Does anybody have an idea of how we would find that one? Yes.
180 minus 114.
Very good. We could do 180 minus 114. Because what is this angle and angle 114? What do they make? A linear pair. So this would give me 66 degrees. That's it. Okay, let's look at 8 as well, because 8 has x squareds in it. Okay? So this one says an exterior angle of a triangle measures 98. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my triangle and give it one exterior angle. It does not matter where you put your exterior angle, as long as there is one exterior angle. It tells me it is 98, so this is going to be 98 degrees. Its remote interior angles are 6x squared plus 11 and 10x squared minus 57. So one of them, it doesn't matter which one, I'm going to make 6x squared plus 11. The other one, I'm going to make 10x squared minus 57. So we're going to use that same formula. We're going to do remote angle plus remote angle equals exterior angle. So this is going to give me 6x squared plus 11 plus 10x squared minus 57 equals 98. And then I'm going to combine my like terms. So I have 6x and 10x give me 16x squared. I have 11 and negative 57, which gives me a negative 46. And that's going to equal 98. Now, we don't have a regular x in here, so that means that we don't actually have to factor. How many of you thought we were going to have to factor? Okay, anytime we see x squared, that's normally what we're going to have to do is factor. But since we have an x squared and then regular numbers, we can get everything on one side and take the square root. So let's move 46 to the other side by adding 46. That's going to give me 16x squared equals 144. Are all my numbers on the right-hand side yet? No, we would have to move 16. And if you divide 144 by 16, what does that give you? 9. Okay, and so then we would, to get rid of this x squared, we do the opposite and take the square root. What is the square root of 9?
3.
Not just 3, but positive and negative 3. Yes? Could you leave it as what? You could take the square roots of both sides first, but a lot of people forget to make it positive and negative if they do that first. But you can do that first. Just remember, you should have one positive answer, one negative answer. Okay, so there's our x. So is everybody okay with the exterior angle theorem? Okay. Now, I want to go over a couple things on the what's the angle notes. We have already talked about all of these type of angles, so we're going to review and then do a couple, and then I'll let you work. So looking at the first box, we know that all angles in a triangle add to 180. So if I wanted to find measure CAB, which is this angle right here, what would I do to find it? 73 plus 42, which would give me 115. Then we know the whole thing should equal 180, so we'd subtract that from 180, and CAB would be 65 degrees. Very good. That's what we learned yesterday. We also learned the isosceles triangles. Their base angles are equal. So yesterday, to find the two angles at the bottom, or one of the two angles at the bottom, we would take 180, which we know a triangle should add to be. We would subtract the angle they gave us, 84. That would give me 96. Now, 96 is both angle X and angle Z. So to just get one of them, since they're equal, we'd have to divide by 2. And so the measure of YXZ would be 48 degrees. Okay? And then the exterior angle theorem that we just learned tells me that the two remote angles, which are P and N, should add to equal the exterior angle, LMP. So all I'd have to do here is add 20 plus 35, which would give me 55 degrees. Okay, vertical angles. That's actually from last 9 weeks. What do we know about vertical angles? They're equal or congruent. So AEB, this angle right here, since it's vertical to 77, it would be 77. Very good. Complementary, we learned that too, means that they add to 90. So if this whole thing, WXY, is 90, and piece WXZ is 64, how would I get ZXY? 90 minus 64. Very good. And so that would be 26 degrees. And the last thing we learned about was supplementary, which means it adds to 180. So this angle plus this angle should equal 180. So how would I find NMP? 180 minus 78. Very good. So that would be 102 degrees. Okay, so I wanted to look at just a few of the more complicated ones. There's some very simple ones, but I wanted to make sure we could do an example like 8. So in number 8, what would angle B equal? 43. Why? Because it's vertical. What about angle D? 75, because it's also vertical. Now, how would we find angle A? What do you think? 180 minus 75 would not work because A and 75 don't make a straight line. What do you think, Emma? Very good. So 75A and 43 form a line. So we would have to add 75 plus 43, which would be 118. Then we would subtract that from 180. And that would give me my measure for A. So 62 would, or A would equal 62. What does that mean C is? 62, because it's vertical. Very good. Okay. Yes. Yes, I will come back to that. Okay, then I also wanted to look at number 10. So in number 10, we're going to take this triangle by triangle. So let's look at the first triangle, ABC. They want us to find angle ABC. So angle ABC is right here. What type of triangle is this? Isosceles. Okay, because it has these 2 tick marks. So that means that the angles across from those sides are what? Equal. So how would I go about solving for one of them? We do 180 minus 82, which would give me 98. I would then divide that by 2 because I only want one of them. And 98 is the sum of both of them. So when we divide that, we would get 49 degrees. So this angle right here is 49 degrees. Now the next angle they asked me to find is BED. So that's this angle right here. So looking at the second triangle, what type of triangle is this one? It's isosceles as well, which means that my 2 bottom angles are congruent. Now, in order to find one of my bottom angles, don't I need this top angle right here? How could I find that top angle? Very good. It's vertical to 49, so this is actually 49. So I would do 180 minus 49, which would give me 131. Then if I wanted just one of the angles, I would have to divide by 2. And so my angle would equal 65.5 degrees. Very good. Okay, we want to look at 12 as well. So number 12, we're trying to find MLP. MLP is this angle right here. And then we also want to find LPE. So LPN is this angle right here. So does anybody have an idea of how we could solve this one? What do you think? Very good. So if we look at this big triangle, it tells me this side and this side is congruent. So that means the angles opposite of them are also congruent. So if angle N is 72, so is angle P. Okay? Now we want to find this little angle up here. What do you think?
Well, you could do 72 plus 72 and then
Mm-hmm.
80 minus that answer.
Very good. You can add 72 plus 72, which would give me 144. We could subtract that from 180, which would give me 36. This whole angle is 36. So she said, since this is split down the middle and it has 2 tick marks telling me that they're equal, we could divide this by 2, and I would know that each of them would be 18 degrees. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, and one more. Okay, let's look at 17. So in 17, how many triangles are there actually in this problem? There's 3. So I'm going to start with the one on the left. Since it has 2 angles already given to me, I'm just going to find the third angle. So one of the angles is 54. One is 72, and I need to find this third one. So I would do what to find that third one? Add them. 72 plus 54 would give me 126. We'd subtract that from 180 because I know all 3 angles in a triangle add to 180. That would give me 54. So I know this third side is 54 degrees. Now, what other triangle already has 2 angles in it? The one on the right. So we're going to look at that one next. Yes. Okay.
This one triangle in the middle with the angle on the left of 54 also.
You can't tell whether it's 54 without working this out to see if it's 54. So we're going to work this out to find this angle right here. So we would add 43 plus 81, which would give me 124. We'd subtract that from 180, and that would give me 56. So that other one is not 56. It looks like it could be isosceles, but we would have to work it out to see. So here, now we want to find x. We want to find this last angle. So since I have these 2 bottom angles, I can add those together. 56 plus 54 gives me what? 110. I can subtract 110 from 180. And so x equals 70 degrees.